Hi, my name is Ellie Ellis and I'm a decorative artist. I have a working studio outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Oftentimes as a decorative finisher artist, I need to replicate an item, especially in my bas-relief work. So today I want to show you how to make a silicone mold. Let's say you have an item like this, or this, and you'd like to replicate it. So when you're creating a mold with silicone, you're going to need a mold box. Oftentimes what I do is I will take a container that I have, and I buy these from the dollar store, and I'll glue my item to the bottom so that the silicone doesn't flow underneath. And so this will contain the silicone because when you mix it, the silicone just levels out. It's very thin unless you put in a thickening agent where you can put it on with a spatula, and I will be showing you how to do that. But the first layer is without any thickening agent, and so it self-levels. Therefore, you need some kind of mold box or container for your item. So you find your item, you find a container that will fit your item, and you glue it on. But let's say your item is larger and you don't have a big enough box or container for it, then you need to make one. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I have this large plaque that I want to replicate, and I could not find anything big enough in my studio, so I'm going to make one. And I thought, well, that's a good lesson to teach because everybody can learn how to do this, and it's very simple, not complicated. First off, I have this piece of wood, and my plaque. Because the silicone is like water, when I put it on my plaque, if I don't adhere it, it will flow, the silicone will flow underneath, which will create more work for me. And so I want to show you how to do it properly so you don't get all that extra work. The first thing you're going to do is take your plastiline clay. I've warmed mine up in the microwave. Just a word of caution, be careful with that because you don't want to burn your hands. So go ahead and roll out these little sausages and just stick them on the edge of your project. And before you flip it over to press in the board, go ahead and press all those little sausages down, make sure they're on there right. And then with a gentle but firm pressure, press it down. And this squishes out all the clay to the edge. For this step, you'll need some 1/2-inch tape, and we're going to use that as a measuring tool for putting our clay wall up. So just cut off some little pieces and randomly put them at the edge of your project. In this way, you'll have equal distance of 1/2 inch all the way around your project. So once you get the tape on there, now it will be easy to roll out your clay and stick that at the edge of your circle. The next step in this process is I've warmed up some clay, and I'm going to make a little bridge around this plaque, and then I'm going to stick some plastic in there. Cut a strip, it's flexible. And if you don't have any plastic or anything like that, you can always use corrugated cardboard as well. And something like this. And that bends really easy and you can make it go round. But for this project, I'm using this plastic. It was just a piece of scrap that was left over in my studio. Taking your warm clay, go ahead and roll out some long sausages, snakes. Remember when you used to make snakes when you were a little kid in clay? And then go ahead and just tack that down around the edges, inside and outside. You don't want to flatten these pieces. You want them to stay high, because once you get all your clay on there, then we're going to come back with our piece of plastic and press that through the center of this little dam or bridge. Press it down, and that's going to be our wall to contain the silicone once we get the silicone poured. So go ahead, take your plastic, and right through the middle, just press it in firmly. It'll stick. Just keep pressing it in, go all the way around. Make sure there's clay on the front and the back as you're pressing it in. This is one of the easiest ways to make a mold box. And you can reuse your clay and plastic over and over again. So once you get to the edge, I just take some of my extra clay and I'll touch up the areas that maybe need a little more. And also I'll do the seams on the edge where the two pieces come together. So that kind of tapes it all together. And once you have that on there, inspect it really well. Make sure there's no light coming through any of the clay areas. And now we're ready to go ahead and mix our silicone and pour it. This is a really easy way to make a mold box. And again, you can reuse the clay and the plastic over and over again. Once you get the clay and the plastic or your corrugated cardboard all into place, you'll want to inspect it and make sure that there's no light coming through anywhere, because if there is, the silicone will seep through there. You can always try to plug it up with some more clay, but it gets messy. So just inspect it, make sure it's good to go. And then what you are going to do is you are going to take some spray release and spray all around the mold. So all around. Not real heavy, you don't want it to puddle, and it's best to do that outside. Let it dry for a good 20 minutes. And what we will be using is from Smooth On. It's a silicone rubber. This is a very easy silicone. It is, you mix 1 part A to 1 part B. Mix it thoroughly and pour it on, and I will show you how to do that. In this step, you will need 2 disposable glasses, 2 stir sticks, and a 32-ounce mixing container. Before you begin, it's very important to thoroughly stir part A and B of your silicone, and then pour that out equally into your measuring cups. Once you have that measured, go ahead and pour them together. Be sure to scrape out all the excess out of your cup so you have the equal amounts of part A and B. And I stir this for a good 2 minutes, scraping the sides and the bottom. And now go ahead and just pour your silicone on, and it will self-level and degas. And this silicone dries quickly. You can see that there's some high spots there. So I'm gonna have to make some more silicone. And for this part, I'm going to add some thickening agent because I want to be able to control where the silicone goes. I don't want it to self-level again, because if I do that, I'm just using way more silicone. So this helps saving some money there. So you mix it up. I think it's about 5% of the thickening agent, just follow the directions, into your silicone. And then go ahead and just butter up your mold, covering up all those high spots. And as much as you can, smooth it out. And before you finish using all of your silicone, save a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to make keys. And we will be needing keys for our mother mold. The mother mold helps to hold the silicone mold because otherwise it would lose its shape. So these little donuts here that I'm putting on are called keys. And once it's all made with the mother mold, it will help go into the mold perfectly. So we're going to let that sit up. Creating a mother mold. We will be using hydrostone plaster, but you can use hydrocal, and for mother mold you can just even use regular plaster of Paris. So you take your plaster and sift it slowly over the top of the water. And I'm teaching you how to do a landfill method, and this way you make a perfect batch every time. So go ahead and just sift it on over, and you'll know that you've reached the maximum amount of plaster to water when the plaster sits above the water and the water does not absorb it anymore. Once you get it to that proportion, you're just going to let it sit and let the water absorb the plaster. It's very important not to mix too soon. What you want to look for is this kind of cracked earth look. You know, after a rainstorm and there's a mud puddle and the sun comes out and starts to evaporate the water. So this is what you're looking for. Once you have that, it's perfect. Then you can go ahead and start stirring. Now you do not want to stir and whip in air, going back and forth, stirring, vibrating out the bubbles. In a mother mold, it's not too important to have bubbles, but when you're pouring this into a mold to cast something, you don't want bubbles. But go ahead and stir it back and forth, vibrating out the bubbles. And sometimes what I will do just to scoop up that last little bit of sludge is I'll take a little paper towel and just wipe that off the top. The plaster is now ready to pour. So go ahead and pour that on top. And again, this is the mother mold, and it cradles the silicone because the silicone is too flimsy on its own to keep its shape. All right, here we go, the magic reveal. The plaster set up, pulling up the silicone mold, Setting it back in the mother mold. We did it. We made a mold. Using a permanent marker, I marked on the silicone mold and the mother mold. This just helps me to fit it in perfectly where I know it's supposed to go. Thank you for watching this short tutorial. I hope that it's been beneficial for you. Please subscribe and like my channel, and also visit my website, eliteartistrybyellie.com. Thank you and have a great day.